The 2018 NFL Draft has kicked off. Rivals.com's Mike Farrell and Adam Gorney give their grades and thoughts on each of the 32 picks Thursday night in Dallas. Who should have gone number 1 prospects? Way and Farrell. List of first-round QB busts long. Farrell's mock draft to USA Today Sports Images. Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, I like Mayfield a lot and his competitive drive is a fit for the Browns. Gorney's grade A. Gorney says, if Mayfield can be patient and understand the Browns aren't going to win the Super Bowl anytime soon, then he has a chance to be really special like Drew Brees. Those might be big gifts, but he has special abilities. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, I love Barkley and what he can bring to the table for the Giants. They can build the offense around him. Gorney's grade A. Gorney says, Barkley could be more special than Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley and Ezekiel Elliott in the NFL. Plus, Barkley going to New York takes some mileage off Eli Manning. Getty Images. Farrell's grade C. Farrell says, I'm not as big on Darnold as many others are. Good value if you expected him to go number 1 as many did, but the turnovers worry me. Gorney's grade B. Gorney says, Darnold is not Mark Sanchez. Let's rid ourselves of the USC quarterback comparisons. Darnold could play right away, but his turnovers remain a major question mark. Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, the top cornerback in the draft is never a bad thing and Ward has a chance to be a very good one for the Browns. Gorney's grade B. Gorney says, this is not necessarily a grade on Ward, who's a fantastic press cornerback. But not taking Bradley Chubb could end up being a huge mistake. Ab. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, Chubb is the freak of the draft and he will be a terror on the other side of Von Miller. Gorney's grade A. Gurney says, Chubb is a superstar in the making and could be the second most talented player in this draft behind Barkley. I would have given this pick an A if Denver didn't need to address quarterback, and Rosen is still sitting there. App Images. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, I love Nelson as an elite interior lineman who can also play tackle. He's a franchise player and fills a huge need. Gorney's grade A. Gorney says, Nelson is a mean, no-nonsense interior lineman who is being brought in so Andrew Luck can be protected. Try blitzing up the middle and Nelson will put you on your back. USA Today Sports Images. Farrell's grade C. Farrell says, the Bills will regret passing on Josh Rosen here. Allen doesn't do it for me as an elite prospect because he hasn't done it at a high level. Gorney's grade C. Gorney says, the Bills have not had much luck with quarterbacks in a lot of years and I just don't see Allen turning the franchise around. I don't see him being the next Carson Wentz. Accuracy is absolutely a problem. Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, I like Smith as a fit for the Bears and at a position of need. He's the best tackler in the draft. Gorney's grade A. Gorney says, Smith is a playmaker who makes tackles all over the field. Very smart for Chicago to take Smith over Tremaine Edmonds, who looks better physically but who doesn't play the way Smith does on the field. App Images. Farrell's grade C. Farrell says, this is a massive reach for San Fran as McGlinchey struggles with speed rushes. Gorney's grade C. Gurney says, I don't think McGlinchey is great against speed to the edge. San Francisco had so many other issues to address and I would consider this pick a big miss this early in the first round. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, Rosen is a franchise guy and this is great value for the Cardinals at number 10. They got the best QB in the draft. Gorney's grade A. Gorney says, Rosen is the most talented quarterback in this draft. In a division loaded with talented quarterbacks, the Cardinals needed to make this trade and it will pay off in a big way. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, the Dolphins got the Swiss Army knife of the draft in a guy who can play SCB and nickel. Gorney's grade A. Gurney says, you don't bet against Alabama. And you don't bet against Fitzpatrick because he can play anywhere in the defensive backfield and be very productive doing it. Copyright Jason Getz USA Today Sports. Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, Vea is a surprise grab for Tampa Bay and a massive interior lineman who can plug the middle of the defense. Gorney's grade B. Gorney says, Vea is a massive human being who has shown tremendous athleticism but I would have liked to see even more production in the Pac-12. He could be special plugging up the middle and getting in the backfield with his speed. Ab. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, I love Payne as a defensive tackle who can also rush the passer so this is a good get for the Redskins. Gorney's grade A. Gorney says, Payne might end up being the best defensive tackle in this draft. Everybody talks about Vea, but Payne could be fantastic lining up next to another Alabama star in Jonathan Allen. App Images Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, Davenport is a freak of nature and a great edge rusher who will be amazing in a few years. Gurney's grade C. Gurney says, New Orleans traded up not for Lamar Jackson, who could have been incredibly special in Sean Payton's offense down the road. For Davenport, he's an athletic freak off the edge, but he did it playing at UTSA. He's unproven. App Images Farrell's grade D. Farrell says, I am not a Miller fan, this is way high for him. Quite a reach here. Gurney's grade D. Gurney says, I'm not sure Miller is a first-round talent at all. I understand he has incredible size and great athleticism, but just like Mike McGlinchey earlier in the first round, this is a huge stretch. Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, I like Edmonds and his potential quite a bit, and he's a top 10 talent, so this is great value at number 16 for the Bills. Gurney's grade A. Gurney says, Edmonds might immediately become the best linebacker on the Bills roster. He's only 19 years old, he can play all over the field, and Buffalo is not going to regret this pick at all. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, the best safety I have ever scouted is a top 10 talent and an amazing get at this stage of the draft. Gurney's grade A. Gurney says, defense is a major problem for the Chargers and James is a great addition at safety. He has an edge that I love and he's going to bring a much-needed spark to the Chargers defense. Excellent pick here. Farrell's grade C. Farrell says, I loved Alexander as a sophomore, but his junior year was a bad one. This could be too high for him. Gurney's grade B. Gurney says, my thinking here is that teams really gave him the once-over since he missed so many games this past and there have been injury concerns. Green Bay they really liked what it saw in Alexander. It's a risk but worth it. App Images Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, he's an athletic kid and was unknown out of high school, but he's got great upside despite injury questions. Gurney's grade C. Gurney says, no. Dallas needs help at receiver and Calvin Ridley and DJ Moore are special. I understand Van Der Esch is an outstanding linebacker and that's good for Dallas because it looks like he'll be on the field a lot. Farrell's grade D. Farrell says, a real reach at center for the Lions with other centers much more highly coveted available. Gurney's grade B. Gurney says, I do think there are better centers in this draft, so some might see Ragnow as a stretch, but he's a tough kid who's also a technician and could move to guard if necessary. This isn't a splash pick but a solid one. App Images Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, this is one of the centers I like in the draft. He is a good value pick. Gurney's grade B. Gurney says, Price is the center I was talking about that I thought was better than Ragnow, so the Bengals made a smart pick here. He won't have a problem from a power standpoint dealing with NFL defensive linemen right away. App Images Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, Evans is a talented linebacker who can cover sideline to sideline but has to play bigger. That being said, he can be an excellent blitzer as well. Gurney's grade B. Gurney says, Evans fits Tennessee's defense perfectly and he's going to compete for a starting job early on. He can cover all over the field and he has great athleticism. App Images Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, this is tough because I like Wynn but not at OT where the Pats drafted him. Gurney's grade B. Gurney says, if he plays offensive tackle, I would rate him lower than this probably. As a guard, he could be pretty special because he was great at Georgia. But New England missed a chance by not taking, and teaching, Lamar Jackson. Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, I would have gone Calvin Ridley first but I like Moore a lot and did out of high school. He makes some special catches and will be key for the Panthers. Gurney's grade B. Gurney says, Moore is an excellent receiver but he's not the best one in this draft. Teams are overthinking this position because Ridley is the top WR and I don't think it's really that close. Farrell's grade C. Farrell says, I think the Ravens could have gone WR here and landed Calvin Ridley and I'm not sold on Hurst as the best T available. Gurney's grade B. Gurney says, Hurst is an outstanding weapon down the middle of the field and should fit perfectly with QB Joe Flacco. The Ravens need weapons and not taking Ridley will probably be a mistake but Hurst is a great option in the passing game. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, the Falcons added another huge offensive weapon for Matt Ryan and this could be a difference-making pick. Gurney's grade A. Gurney says, Ridley is the best wide receiver in this draft and he's going to a perfect spot teamed up with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones and others. He's going to catch a lot of balls with the Falcons. Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, this is an interesting pick by the Seahawks because no one saw them going running back, but he can do a lot of things for this team. Gorney's grade D. Ernie says, you're going to tell me Penny rates higher than Darius Geese, especially Sony Michel and maybe even some other running backs? No way, I don't buy it. There are some high-level, second-level running backs in this draft that remain on the board. Farrell's grade C. Farrell says, Terrell Edmonds is a big reach for the Steelers here. There are many other higher quality players available. Gorney's grade C. Gorney says, decent pick because I love defensive players from Virginia Tech, but I'm not sure Edmonds is the best safety prospect left on the board. Farrell's grade C. Farrell says, I am not a huge fan of Brian as a football player. He's a great athlete, but as a football player he lacks instincts. Gorney's grade B. Gorney says, I like this pick a lot because the Jaguars could be striking gold with Brian. Excellent athlete who can be a great addition to a loaded Jacksonville front. He needs to produce more, but he's a specimen. Farrell's grade B. Farrell says, Hughes is great value at number 30 for the Vikings and will make the defense even better with his coverage skills and willingness to tackle. Gorney's grade B. Gurney says, Hughes is a nice pick because even though he's a little short, he's physical and tough at the line of scrimmage. He only has one as a starter and that's scary, but Hughes is talented. Farrell's grade A. Farrell says, I think this is one of the steals of the draft as Michel can do so much in the run and passing game. Gorney's grade A. Gurney says, this is a perfect pick for New England and continues to prove why it's the best franchise in the NFL. Michel can run the ball, catch the ball out of the backfield and be a versatile weapon for Tom Brady. Farrell's grade C. Farrell says, I am among those who don't think Lamar Jackson is accurate enough to be a quarterback in the NFL. Gorney's grade A. Gurney says, Lamar Jackson needs work to be an NFL starting quarterback. But he's going to learn under Joe Flacco. He has special, dynamic athletic ability and it's a risk but certainly a calculated one. I like it.